Okay, B96, we are hip hop, B96hiphop.com, Pete Parker, Shadyville DJs worldwide, in the studio right now. I mean, the kids are excited about it. Give it up for Immortal Technique. How you doing, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm good. I'm chilling.
Did I get a smile out of you? Is this the first time, man?
I'm relaxing. You know, I'm taking it easy for the day. We just had a huge show sound set over there at Canterbury, so it was good to get out of New York City for a little while and go somewhere where there's not, a war-torn area all around me.
Yeah.
So instead of being out in the Middle East or in South America or something, I was just out here in Minneapolis, putting it down.
You felt a lot of love yesterday?
Yeah, I felt like there were a lot of people out there who had different tastes in music. There were some rock and roll heads out there. There were people that like hardcore hip hop, and then there were people that just wanted to hear music. So, I think there was something for everybody there. They had a lowrider show out there. Shout out to the high rollers who took home mad prizes. And, there was a graffiti exhibit. There were people doing bike tricks out there. There was heads that were just having a b-boy contest, people battling in the crowd. It was just,
It was hip-hop.
Hip-hop. One of those rare instances where you see actual hip-hop instead of people that imitate, a movie from the 90s or try to live a fantasy that they can't afford to live. But, yeah.
It was hip-hop, like skateboarding, cars, graffiti, breakdancing, the whole 9 yards. Sound 09, fantastic. I saw a little bit of the performance. You were doing Harlem Streets when I came in. The record was crazy. I mean, interacting with the crowd. It almost looks like a Woodstock or a Lollapalooza crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it really depends on where you are. Like I did a show in Morocco, right?
Yeah.
And there was just 7,000 Moroccan people wilding out, 7,000 North Africans going crazy. And then, recently did something down in Colombia, 70,000 people out there that I didn't even know had any knowledge of my music. And as soon as Peruvian cocaine came on, they knew every lyric, and they were screaming and yelling, and they were going wild and crazy, and they wanted to scream, "Yo quiero escuchar Dance with the Devil," and I was like, all right, hold on, I only have
pause that, please.
amount of time to be up here for a second. But the crowds I have are very diverse. If I'm in an area like Wisconsin or Minneapolis, it'll be one thing. If I'm in LA, it'll be a whole other. If I'm in Florida, obviously, there's a different demographic everywhere that you go, a different majority, a different minority. But, it's always good to play for different crowds of people and, to realize that if hip-hop is really what it's supposed to be, then you're supposed to have that sort of exposure. You're supposed to be exposed to, a Black or Latino fan base, a Middle Eastern fan base, a white fan base who, by the way, buys 70% of all hip-hop.
True.
So, I mean, I think for somebody to come on there and be like, oh, I only have this type of fans or that type, well, then you're missing out. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be able to reach all people, and they're supposed to appreciate you because of your skill. I know I grew up in Harlem. I know brothers in the hood that they don't care what color you are. If you're nice, they'll give you your props.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't it be the same in a white community out here? Don't matter what color you are. They just give you your props if they feel it, if they know you can spit. So, I definitely have proved that over the years in the underground. So I get love out here the same way I would anywhere else.
Let's talk about Harlem. Like, America's kind of mainstream view of Harlem. You're talking about Dipset. You're talking about Big L, Herb McGruff. You know what I mean? Like a certain type of a character, very flashy, very flamboyant, hustlers. They do, they're kind of attributed for a lot of style for the culture.
Right.
And you represent Harlem, a different Harlem.
I represent Harlem. And I represent the Harlem that understands what Harlem is going through.
Yeah.
The Harlem from the 90s and the Harlem from the 80s is not the Harlem from 2009 and 2010.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been gentrified to the utmost degree.
Yeah.
Which means they made the neighborhood nicer, but they ain't make it nicer for us. They made it nicer so that someone else could come move in and they could build, condominiums that start at, $1.5 million, wherein they had a river-to-river plan, and they redistricted the whole area, and they said only 5% of this new area is going to be for low-income housing. Everything else is, like I said, high-rate condos and storefronts, basically telling the community, get out.
Like when I heard Bill Clinton had his office in Harlem,
yeah,
I'm like, something's going on.
Yeah. Nah, but that's the thing. That over at the State Building, like, believe me, when I was a little kid, I went to a thing called Hoodstock in Harlem. Yeah. It was a free open air concert. It was with all the Wu-Tang, Fat Joe, Punisher, Biggie. Biggie was there. I seen him in Junior Mafia. I seen the Fugees while they was together. Just
hold on,
Big
excuse
L
me.
Was there.
Okay.
Big L was there and just walking around talking to people in the crowd. Like, that whole hip hop atmosphere is shut down over there. Like, they can't have that no more. You know, granted, that night got shut down because people was licking shots in the air.
Going crazy.
But at the same time, like, you know, nobody got killed that day. And unfortunately, because of some of the violence, you know, a lot of Harlem became a police state. And, you know, they felt the only way they could make the neighborhood nicer was by uncreatively kicking out the Black and Latino people. And unfortunately, I see that being repeated all over the country. So a song like Harlem Streets, to me, you know, doesn't matter because it's not so much anymore about just race, even though that is a factor. I think it's also about class. You know, if there's a poor white community and they like the way you're situated or where you fit in terms of the geography of a city, they'll be like, let's get them the hell out of there too. You know, they don't give you no slack because of that. You know, it's just what it is.
They talk about this in Boston, a neighborhood called Jamaica Plain, JP. They always talk about gentrification in a neighborhood where they're moving in, you know, yuppies, and the Black and Latinos are moving to other places when they're raising the rent. I mean, it's all over the country right now.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's almost like the suburbs is becoming the new hood. You know, they want everybody to move out there, and it looks better sometimes. But just because you got a front yard doesn't mean that there's not drama in your neighborhood.
Big shout to Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Yeah.
There's not a lot of fiends that are hanging around everywhere. And, you know, sometimes the quality of water might be less. You never know what's really going on in the neighborhood. Yeah. It just, appearances are real deceiving. And a lot of times people come to New York and they're like, oh, man, the city is so dangerous. And I'm like, yo, homie, you're in a police state. There's nothing. There's video cameras on the train. Yeah. You know, video cameras at the ATM. There's a guy hiding everywhere. There are agents. There are people with bomb-sniffing dogs and machine guns by the train station. Like, look, but you live in a 10 million person city, they're going to lock it down, even more so because of 9/11 and then everything that's ever happened and the fact that there are always heads of state there. So, I mean, I think you could probably get murdered in a small city in America in some random area, then you're more likely getting killed out there than in New York.
Man, you hear this bullshit they be talking every day, man. It's like these motherfuckers is just like professional liars, you know what I'm saying? It's wild. Listen, Bin Laden didn't blow up the projects. It was you, nigga. Tell the truth, nigga. Bush knocked down the tower. Tell the truth, nigga. Bush